Tea with Larry Chiang. Have you ever tried green tea? I'm not going to promote a brand of green tea, but I recommend loose leaf green tea because then you don't have to teabag. This is green tea with Larry Chiang. We're probably going to go through about 2 pots of green tea. Page 344, L-theanine from the book Limitless, Jim Quick. Why am I quoting page numbers? Because it's more share, more share, more share. Hashtag Mushi, Mushi, Mushi. Mushi is just where an American person is just where an American person says more share, which is Mushi, Mushi, Mushi. Charlie Jones has chimed in to say, hi. What's up, buddy? What's up? We are going to have a good YouTube live because our agenda, it's pretty fire. Topic number 1, Charlie Jones and friends, is syllabus, an agenda. It's being able to cheat the questions that come up where we could say, oh, what's up the sky? Sometimes not so much because things are inverted. But what can't be inverted is a syllabus. So when I was a student, I would just skip reading the syllabus because I was too cool for school. I was too cool to read what the teacher was going to talk about because I didn't want to hear what the teacher was going to talk about. That's very normal. But the thing that I've learned via the School of Hard Knocks is this. You want to read ahead in the book because the teacher, you're your own teacher. And if you're not teaching yourself stuff, you're going to have some big, big, big problems. Let's try to mitigate some of these problems that other people are experiencing so that way we can benefit from 2 things: other people's experiences, other people's money. We can say that the teacher didn't know what they're talking about, but let's say the teacher is ourselves. Do we know what we're talking about? This is why it's green tea with Larry Chiang, because you might see me as the most Caucasian cowboy that you've ever met, but I'm trying to become more Asian. I'm trying to become more Chinese. I'm trying to be Brianna Gu, who won 2 silver medals. And then someone asked her, hey, do you feel bad that you missed on 2 gold medals? Brianna, go! Green tea with Larry Chiang. How are you? Have you guys hung out with me before? It's good to spend time with you. It's good to spend time with you. Agenda, syllabus, reading ahead in the book. That's what it is when you're experiencing deja vu in a good way. What is deja vu in the first place? It's where your brain dreams up of what might happen and could happen, where it feels whimsically on repeat, where your brain says, hey, have we been out on a date before? Hey, it feels like there are some new things that are appearing familiar. That's deja vu. By reading ahead in an agenda, by reading ahead in a syllabus, by reading ahead in this Larry Chiang video, what we're experiencing is a mentor-mentee mind meld. We experience this also in reading a book. We experience this also in going to a work conference where we seem to be in flow. We seem to be in conjunction. We seem to be in congruence. That's similar to heart brain coherence, where our hearts are not at odds with our brain. Have you heard people say, oh, it feels like my body was in a civil war? More on that later. More on that later. You like the little teaser? Here's something I'm not going to tease you about. Here's something we're not going to tease you about. I like that. Body networking, which is really what sex is networking of grown-ups. Speaking of networking, I brought with me some visual aids. This is golden curry. This is Vermont curry. Why am I bringing visual aids? I'm bringing visual aids because this stuff tastes delicious, but your body, it feels like holy hell afterwards. What is golden curry and Vermont curry? You boil some potatoes, you make some carrots, boiled potatoes, you put the peas in last. And then you throw a couple of these curry cubes in. And it's a delicious $2 meal. I'm not going to say I'm addicted to making $2 meals. I'm not going to say that, because I'm truly addicted to making $1 meals. I'm trying to be kindred. I'm trying to say F you to the man, which is really saying F you to the woman, if you really think about it. Because the man's no longer in charge. It's some phantom woman, female, who's saying, don't anybody cook for men. Hey, females, don't anyone take the best deal in the world, which is a housewife. Hey, ladies, try to mess up your life by having sex with 50 dudes before you turn 30. The mythical woman in charge of it all. So I'm making these $1.50 meals. And then I thought to myself, why does my body feel like complete crap afterwards? Why? And then I looked at the ingredients. Remember, topic number 1 was reading the syllabus. Remember, topic number 1 was reading the agenda. Food has a syllabus. It's a list of ingredients. Oh my God, there's MSG and chemical in my food. Oh my God, there's palm oil. Oh my God, there's random seed oil. These things make your body feel bad, but this is not the topic of this video. The topic of this video is green tea with Larry Chiang. I'm not going to just complain about the ease and low cost of using curry cubes. But what I am going to do is skip ahead to topic number 2, which is reverse engineering food. Reverse engineering food. That wasn't a pubic hair. I don't even eat vagina. Reverse engineering curry cubes. I thought to myself, what is a curry cube? It looks like it's just oil compacted with curry powder, compacted with chemical. What if I used cream, olive oil, and curry powder instead of a curry cube? Oh my God. Oh my God. It was actually delicious. MSG is a power seasoning. Yeah, but it's also the way that MSG is like a filter on one of those dating apps. Not just a filter, but an AI picture on a dating app where people get pissed off that you used AI in your photos for your dating app. People get pissed off when you use filters. People get pissed off when you trick them into eating MSG. Oh, I wouldn't do that to you. Put MSG in your product. I would never do that to you, Larry. I would never do that to you. Is that me imitating a woman cooking for me? No, because I do not trust the latest wave of women trying to cook food for men in an attempt to be traditional. Why? Why, Larry? Why don't you trust women to make food for you? I've been making food since COVID and I'm getting kind of scary good at it. Look, I reverse engineered golden curry. I reverse engineered Vermont curry. Reverse engineered. I'm not going to let some person who's cooked not even 10 meals cook one meal, where I'm cooking 10 meals per week. That's why letting a woman cook for me isn't necessarily in my best interests. Have you guys noticed that recently? Where women are starting to try to cook? Recently, in one of the buildings that I live in, women tried to cook on a random Tuesday because they were trying to cook. The entire building almost burnt down 3 times in one night. Oh, ladies, are you getting angry about women trying to cook? Notice why you're getting angry. It's because competition is competitive. Why are other women cooking making women angry? I hypothesize that competition makes people more competitive. What is competition in my definition of it? My competition definition is where women are trying to cook, where there's a competition of women trying to outmaneuver other women. What caused women to, this is reverse engineering women. What caused women to isolate? What caused women to self harm? That would be a woman who is no longer even dating anymore saying, I don't like having to be competitive. Have you guys ever noticed that women who have a large butt, they're only friends with women that have a similarly large butt? A woman with a ginormous ass is never friends with a person with a perky, perfect ass. It's just not seen. It's just not ever seen. Why is that? It's the same reason as women who have 72 fewer eggs aren't friends with other women that have fewer eggs. It's everybody that's postmenopausal. It's everybody that is within a certain egg capacity. Eggs like human eggs. Reverse engineering Web 12. So when you forward engineer something, it's tough. It's one of the reasons that engineering is hard is you have to forward engineer. Tech sales, which is engineering and technical, is even harder. That's why they call it for deployment engineer. A forward deployed engineer is way more challenging. What is slightly less challenging, but is a good exercise in this video, is reverse engineering, where we take something that we like, and then we reverse engineer it. This is a practice where we go from no things engineered to at least reverse engineering something. So, some people who work in technology, the first thing they reverse engineered was a website. You right click the website and it shows you the HTML raw code. Reverse engineering. Let's say that there's a omelet or a cheeseburger or something like a casserole that you like to purchase via DoorDash. Can you reverse engineer it? Here's another one, which is a blooming onion that they sell at Applebee's, or is it Chevy's, or is it one of the chain restaurants, where the onion is looking like a flower. And you're like, hey, I could never make this at home. But then you watch a Larry Chiang video and you're like, reverse engineering food, it might be a challenge to do that onion because it's multiple steps. 1, you got to boil the onion. 2, you got to add cornmeal to the onion. 3, then the onion with the cornmeal has to go into an egg bath, like a omelet egg bath. And then you got to reflour it, and then you got to add oil to it, and then you got to bake it, fry it, or air fry it. So there's kind of a lot of steps. And then you got to make the sauce, which is actually kind of easy. So in the same way that you've perhaps never reverse engineered a salad dressing, once you reverse engineer one thing, let's say salad dressing, then you realize, oh my God, a salad dressing is just sauce, is just a version of liquid flavor added to a raw salad. So then what your brain wraps around is there's salt, fat, acid, and heat for your cooking processes. So the process of concocting your own chess recipe, like checkers chess, concocting your own business recipe, concocting your own corporation, concocting your own concoction. Why is concoction so funny? It's the strong K sound and there's cock in the middle, because that's another franchise that we together reverse engineered. Congratulate yourselves, because it's 2 girls, 1 cup of knowledge. Do you guys know about that franchise? 2 girls, 1 cup of knowledge. It's a joke franchise that we reverse engineered from 2 girls, 1 book, which is book club. Problem, book club. 15 people in a book club. 2/3 of the people didn't read the book. All 15 people are talking equal amounts. At book club, if only 5 people read the book, shouldn't the 5 people who read the book get to speak the longest? But that's not how group dynamics works. This is reverse engineering a book club, which is book club at a pool. Let's say you're in the middle of winter and you want to vacation somewhere warm, right? You want a free vacation going somewhere warm. book club at a vacation venue. What is book club at a vacation venue? Are you going to need to recruit people? That would be maybe. Maria Yamamoto wants to shut his mouth up. You like staring at my mouth, don't you, Maria? I know you do. I know you do. I know you do. Should I sing a song about it? Shut his mouth up with my fill in the blank. Are you touching yourself right now? I consent, but that's kind of weird, Maria. That's kind of weird. This is the point in the video where Maria pretends to be a guy pretending to be a girl. I've watched the audience before. I've watched this audience before. Humor of beta males, perfectly on cue. When there's no differentiation between beta males and women, it's the thesis that beta males act like women. Because when you say shut in his mouth up, which I will pin, thank you. Thank you for your negative energy. Thank you. Thank you for your negative energy. When beta males talk like women, it's a natural brain function to seek the lack of testosterone in your body. This is Green Tea with Larry Chiang. Who am I? I have a channel on what they don't teach you in school. This is Green Tea. This is Green Tea time. It's okay if you don't currently brew your own green tea from loose leaf. It's okay. Drink something that is partially nutritious. And I'm open to you drinking coffee as well. Reverse engineering. It makes forward engineering slightly more possible. Reverse engineering. What we're doing is we're eating a food that we buy on DoorDash. What is a food that you buy on DoorDash? What is a food that you buy that gets delivered that you pay $50 for, and then when it arrives, you got to reheat it because that food was made 40 minutes ago? What food is that? What food is that? Because that could be the first thing that we reverse engineer. So let's say it's chicken curry, or let's just keep it chicken curry. You love it because there's congealed potatoes. You know those potatoes that are super soft and they taste like you've been cooking that potato for 2 days? And then the carrots, oh, they're so sweet and they're just covered in that sauce. And there's just the perfect amount of rice. But then what happens is when you get a DoorDash delivered, all the food tastes super stale. You know how like some food tastes good even cold, but other food, it only tastes good if you eat it at the restaurant. Pizza. Chris Douglas has said from the 628. Is that SoCal? Area code 628? No, that's area code 626. What's area code 628? Is that San Francisco? San Francisco. Area code 628, San Francisco. Reverse engineering pizza. I've tried pizza ovens like the Uni. I've tried pizza in my oven, traditional oven. I don't love either. What is incredibly functional and delicious is pizza in an air fryer. So the way I do pizza in an air fryer, and I've experimented with buying dough. I've experimented with making dough. Anytime I make dough, it just doesn't work because you have to leaven it. You have to basically making pizza, it's an all day affair or overnight. But this is the workaround. This is me reverse engineering. Have you guys ever had French bread pizza? It's actually delicious because it's on French bread. And so when you're making French bread pizza, you make it in an oven, you melt some mozzarella, you throw some spaghetti sauce, some red sauce, you throw some mozzarella on it, and it's a French bread pizza. It's pretty delicious because the French bread is like a garlic bread. I make that in a air fryer. And so sometimes if I don't have French bread, I'll just use rosemary sourdough that I purchased from Whole Foods. Is this a $1 meal? It's $3, but it tastes like it's $600. What's a $1 meal? It's me standing in solidarity saying, hey, what if we could eat really good food? What if we could eat really good food that costs $1? That's been my recent kick lately. So some of these recipes include pasta and peas. Pasta and peas as a meal. It's actually kind of good. The key to $1 meals is you have to hide the onion. Not necessarily hide the onion, but you have to make an entire red onion and then cook it down. And that caramelized onion, it just infuses to the pasta and the peas. Another $1 meal is potato, carrot, peas, using that curry powder. So instead of using curry cubes, I read the ingredients that were in curry cubes, which is Vermont curry or golden curry. Golden curry, Vermont curry. What happens is your body, it kind of feels like crap after you eat this because it's got MSG, it's got seed chemical, it's got palm oil, it's got bad oil. So, what I did to make the delicious potato and carrot and peas is I just bought curry powder from Amazon. A bucket of curry powder is barely any money. I added in a can of mushroom soup because I don't have Greek yogurt that isn't 3 months old. So I added mushroom soup, curry powder, and love into a Instapot. Oh my God, the vegetables, it tasted delicious. It tasted delicious. Thank you. Smart. Make your own labeled curry. An entire vat of curry powder is like less than $1 a pound. And the curry powder, it actually tastes better than the cube one. Yeah. Yeah. What have you guys ever thought about forward engineering? I studied in engineering. I kind of talk about it a little too much. I talk about it within engineering for entrepreneurship. I talk about engineering within reverse engineering somebody else's financial engineering, GameStop. I talk about engineering from a engineering education standpoint. I talk about engineering with engineers that studied computer engineering, and then we compare and contrast applications for chemical engineering within entrepreneurship. I talk about engineering with people that are curious about three forms of vibe coding, which is computer science engineering, ClaudeBot, MoltBot, OpenClaw. I talk about engineering with engineering a syllabus, which is the first topic that we talked about. Let's revisit that perfectly on script by expanding on engineering's thought pattern within a syllabus or within an agenda. So let's say that we theoretically see a 3-day agenda. For example, Strategy World 26. What is Strategy World 26? It's a company, MicroStrategy. They have a user conference, and it's called MicroStrategy User Conference. But then they renamed it to MicroStrategy World, and then they renamed it again to Strategy World 26. Based on all these renames, the syllabus gets muddied. Based on all these renames and rebrands, ClaudeBot, MoltBot, OpenClaw, OpenAI, rebrands, 12 days of OpenAI, 23 days of OpenAI at South by Southwest, 22 days of OpenAI at South by Southwest, hashtag 26 days of OpenAI ducking BK. So what we're doing with all these rebrands and other people's rebrands is we're determining, oh my God, Strategy World 26 is talking about digital credit. Let's connect up digital credit to digitally understanding credit knowledge 9, which is Larry Chiang, me, my company's Duck 9. So the reason that we're reverse engineering other people's things, digital credit, Larry Chang's Duck 9, Larry Chang's reverse VC, Larry Chang's Curry. When we reverse engineer one thing and then we write the documents for it. So, documentation is where somebody who wrote the code also explains why they wrote the code in a certain way. Nobody reads the documentations, similar to how nobody reads the syllabus. But once you read the syllabus, you're a half a step away from being able to not only reverse engineer the syllabus, but also forward engineer a product. What is a forward engineered product? That's something that companies pay middle six figures for. Here's an example of a forward engineered product. It's sticking with Strategy World 26. That would be a product called Stretch. $ STRC. So when you have a forward engineered product, it gets complicated and then people get demoralized. This is why we bring in visual aids. Who's this? Who's this? This is Larry the Starfish. This is Larry the Starfish. Let me introduce you to his 5 arms. Arm number 1 is $STMSTR, $STRC, $STRD, $STRK, $STRF. Who in the world can memorize that? Barely anybody. You like how Larry the Starfish is moving up in the world? Who can memorize $ MSTR, $STRC, $STRD, $STRK? My little arm, my little leg arm, $STRF. Who can memorize those things? Literally nobody. This is forward engineering a financial product while taking the time to make it entertaining. When you take the time to make it entertaining, you're tiptoeing into humor. When you take the time to make it entertaining, you're interrupting what's expected. By taking the time to make it slightly funny, you connect to people that otherwise would have mentally given up. Look at this video. Look at how many people have mentally given up. And that's okay because now we can enjoy green tea mano y mano. Reverse engineering. Being able to reverse engineer a table of contents where you're editing somebody else's work. For example, John Doerr's book, Measure What Matters, chapters 1 through 21. For example, Warren Buffett's book, Warren Buffett in the Business of Life, Snowball, chapters 1 through 64. By editing somebody else's work, we're we're appreciative of their reverse engineering work. Brad Pitbull has chimed in to say good morning. What's going on? Do you like my prep today? You like my prep? It's pretty good prep today to prepare us for reverse engineering. We talked about making a $2 meal using an Instapot. $1, $2, $3. It's some single digit number of dollars where it tasted like it was a $70 DoorDash meal. It tasted like it was $70. Oh, prepping is impossible. Prepping is so hard. But here's the thing with prepping, not being a prepper, mind you, I'm talking about preparing. Being able to have carrots, onion, potato in the fridge, it's like having a bank account with 2 years worth of savings. It feels really good to have emergency meals. And I say emergency as in, hey, I want to eat dinner with you. Cool. Do we want to go out to eat where the food tastes like mushy slop and costs me $150? Or is she just going to come over to my house? What am I going to cook for her? It's an emergency. Because you don't want to go to Whole Foods, pick out a bunch of stuff, come up with a recipe, because that meal is going to cost you $300. Let me repeat the math on that. Girl wants to hang out with you. We're going to go out to eat. That's going to be over $100. Or do you want to come over and I'll make you food? That's going to be $300 because a trip to the grocery store, that's going to be $300. Oh, I like that. Reverse engineered emergency curry. We just renamed this video. Let's also come up with some expensive shit that we can sell to women. Maddie, do you like that? So, green tea. Because the name of this video is Green Tea with Larry Chiang. Have you guys ever eaten a $20 green tea salad? It's super salty. It's weird. It's expensive. And they call it a green tea salad. So instead of buying a green tea salad, why don't we have green tea things that barely have any green tea in it? Let's start forward engineering let's start forward engineering. We're going to have a good time. Number 1, green tea pasta. What? Did you just make that up? Yeah. We're just making shit up right now. Have you been to a restaurant where they're only selling you the food because it sounds weird? It doesn't even sound, it just sounds expensive and weird. That's what eating out at a restaurant is right now. It's just expensive, weird stuff. The stuff that doesn't taste like mush. Ooh, a green tea. Hey, you say the things and I make the jokes, but I'm going to give you credit, Brad Pitbull, which is a green tea burrito. Oh. Not a green tea burrito. Well, a green tea burrito, but green tea enchiladas. So back when the economy wasn't a complete shit show, there's a restaurant concept that was fire. It was fusion everything. What is fusion? Fusion, like, oh, we're going to combine Spanish and American cuisine, fusion, or PF Chang. We're going to combine Chinese and Japanese. In fact, when they started to do that fusion, PF Chang started to go down the toilet. Do you like green tea sushi? Green tea everything. Green tea taco. Oh, I like that. How about green tea? How about green tea casserole? What's the one breakout concept? Is it green tea pasta? High tea, green tea. Have you guys ever been to high tea? High tea is $150, 2 people drinking tea and eating shitty little sandwiches that have a lot of mayonnaise, like a cucumber sandwich. That's high tea. And then they put the sandwiches on 4 levels. So it visually looks amazing. You pop a selfie and you're like, hi, I'm at high tea. And I'm like, oh my God, 4 people is $500. This isn't just the biggest ripoff known to people, which is why my picture for this video is an upside down wedding cake. Green tea upside down wedding cake. Can you guys see the thumbnail that I uploaded for this YouTube live? It's an upside down wedding cake. It's an upside down wedding cake. It's an upside down wedding cake. This is something I forward engineered. You can steal this idea, by the way. You should be able to sell an upside down wedding cake for $20,000, because I don't think I've ever seen one in the wild that I didn't imagine, which is a wedding cake that's upside down. Why is an upside down wedding cake something I forward engineered? because there are wedding cakes that are fraudulent, where it's 7 levels of wedding cake, but only 1% of it is actually real cake. I'm talking about the thumbnail sketch for this video. Whatever. It's just an upside down wedding cake. That's something I forward engineered. Staying on script, women who are manly. Oh. So there's a lot of women who used to look manly. I used to kind of be attracted to that because a woman who's 6'1" and has ginormous hands, like there's just something that's like a ginormous turn on for that. But then I'm watching this TV show, which actually isn't bad, called Veronica Mars. And the female who was actually a male actually looked like a regular female. Now it's completely the opposite, where it's a girl with chest hair who is just saying crazy things and also doing crazy things. There you go. Women that are manly, that have firm grips. There's nothing like a woman that has a firm grip. So I don't know about that, but I do know that women who are 6 foot plus automatically get asked, "Hey, are you a dude?" Lana Trevisan, Lana Trevisan, Trivasan, Trevisan. I remember seeing her and saying, "Oh my God, you're really tall." But I didn't say that. I just thought it. But then instead of cold approaching her by saying, "Hey, Lana Trevisan, do you want to come home with me?" I instead said, what did I say? "Oh, do you want to come home with me?" Because I assumed that everybody would say, "Hey, do you play basketball?" Remember, beta males who sound like beta males actually sound like women. And women who are really tall, they don't want to be pelted with questions. They don't want to be asked questions from a beta male, which is, "Do you play basketball?" What? Like she's never heard that before because she's like 6'4" in heels. Like she's never heard that before. But what she's probably never heard before is, "Oh my God, you're so cute and little. Can I take you home with me?" Right? How are we doing on cold approaches? This is Green Tea with Larry Chiang. Backing up a couple steps. What are some things that you learned here that you never learned in school? Because our next topic is going to knock your socks off, which is helping women do cold approaches. Larry, why are men no longer approaching us anymore? Larry, where do we find guys who are at your level? What? Like, why can't you just be happy with me? You got to find another person that's like me. Or my personal favorite, which is, Larry, how do I find a person that's exactly you, but 10 years younger? What? What are you, a baseball coach? Baseball coaches don't even say this, which is solution. You need to meet more men. meaning cold approach. What is cold approach? Cold approach is where you see somebody and you say, I don't know you, I want to meet you. But this is not happening at bars because bars are prohibiting heterosexual interaction. And what happens to bars, hotels, and restaurants that frown upon heterosexual contact? Uh-oh, Brad Pitbull is cold approaching WB. Cold approach while being black. Cold approach. Cold approach while being black. So, why do you talk about your Cadillac? Cold approach, boomer cold approach at a 7-Eleven. That's cool. Okay. So, I'm not making fun of Brad Pitbull for being a boomer and being black. I'm not making fun of that. What we're doing that's genius is we are intergenerationally mixing our cold approaches. So, what is intergenerational? Just because we're 29 years old doesn't mean that we can only use language that is 29 plus or minus 4 years. This is a ginormous mistake that people make within trying to get employment. This is a mistake that people get within networking. This is a common mistake, which is this, where look around at your friend group. Are all of your friends plus or minus 4, 5, 6 years your age? Because if that's true, or worse, if you're in your 20s and all your friends are plus or minus 1 year, there's a problem. This is why women don't make as much money, because women, when they go to lunch on Saturday, when they go to lunch during work, women only want to hang out with other women that are plus or minus 5 years of them. Women don't actively go and have a networking relationship with a woman who's 10, 15, 20 years younger. On the flip side, on the higher earning income end of the gender spectrum, look at men. Men will wear another man's jersey who's 10 to 30 years younger than them, cheering for that man to supplant them, cheering for that man to supersede them, cheering for that man to make more money in one game than that man makes in an entire year. For example, the Super Bowl, you're wearing jersey number 10 for Drake May. You might be wearing jersey 10 because it's Jimmy Garoppolo, but whatever. Drake May is going to make more money in Santa Clara. He's going to pay more tax. He's going to pay more tax money than you in 1 week. So the amount of tax that he's going to pay is about $200K. That's how much some people make in an entire year. This is when you understand the differences between men making money and women making money. Is can you cheer for somebody who's making that much money? This is why some people refuse to watch sports, where you don't want to watch a person make that much money and cheer for a person because you're not going to live your life vicariously through them. But this is not a video about vicarious living. This is a video about understanding what happens when you enjoy green tea for almost an hour is you'll start to build muscle in your brain that says, maybe as a woman, I shouldn't be angry at women that are 8 years younger than me. Because I've watched something that happens at a bus stop, which is none of the poor people are talking to any of the poor people, probably because half the poor people there are black and might be robbing other people. That's just a dynamic where you're like, oh, please don't rob me. But this applies to networking at high level conferences as well right now, such as Strategy World 26, which is people are inherently beginning to distrust other people, including middle class people. Why are middle class people having a hard time connecting? Because there's an overt war on the middle class. There's a clear attempt to wipe out the middle class. There are divide and conquer strategies that our government and our politicians have installed. This is Green Tea with Larry Chiang, where you got to ask yourself, why, where did all the negative people go? Do you guys remember my YouTube live streams that used to have hundreds of views, where it was a mayhem of, one, homosexual people throwing Hail Marys; two, people accusing me of financial fraud with content like this; three, a ton of haters that were just spamming the feed. Whereas now, this is so positive and awesome that it's so easy to knock off one of these YouTube lives because, one, there's congruence in our thinking. Two, we're in support of each other in building this small and nascent community. Three, we're coming up with some pretty awesome things, such as green tea taco. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. If someone would be paid 5 cents each time meeting athletes in an airport, he wouldn't get rich. So, what you're navigating, because your brain, it's smart, but you wrapped it into a pretzel. Which is, if I had 5 cents for every airport, 5 cents for every athlete I met at an airport, what you're pretzel braining into, what you're pretzel braining into pinning, pin, pin, pin. What if you made $5 for every athlete video that Larry Chiang, student athlete, made? Because if you made $5 per video, that would quickly spool up to a higher dollar amount. Why? Because of reverse engineering, forward engineering, and reverse engineering. There's this food truck in Portland called Koi Fusion. So what were the one or two menu items that were at Koi Fusion that we could sell as an homage to Koi Fusion? I'm going to guess. Ooh. So, what we're doing here is we're trying to make you $80,000 via one video. Have you guys ever made $10 or $1 on one video? Or has every video just been an attention sink time hole, black hole of energy. There's this food truck in Portland called Koi Fusion. Let's reverse engineer what their best item is. That would be spam masubi and tuna fish masubi. Have you guys ever had a masubi? It's basically 3 bites of somebody else's tuna sandwich, but they don't have bread around the tuna sandwich. They had seaweed and rice. So all it is seaweed, rice, and spam, or seaweed, rice, and tuna fish, tuna salad, masubi. So what this is an example of, is reverse engineering, forward engineering, because this is Larry Chiang, what they don't teach you in school. Instead of just making food for yourself, Larry, I don't like to cook because I'm just one person and I'm too lazy to cook as one person. Or some other excuse for, oh, I'll cook when I have 5 people, but now that I'm one person, I'm not cooking. What we're doing in reverse engineering a food truck in Portland called Koi Fusion is we're just going to use AI to say, what were the best food items? What were the best food items at Koi Fusion? What were the best food items at Koi Fusion? Where Koi Fusion, tuna salad masubi, Koi Fusion, bulgogi burrito. It's a Korean barbecue burrito with bulgogi beef. Korean short rib taco, K sliders, Korean sliders, kimchi sliders, kimchi quesadilla. If I'm going to be honest, none of that sounds very good to me. It feels like IQ 85 food, which is, did you guys know that South Korea had an IQ of 85? Kind of like gives me hope for the entire continent of Africa, because IQ, it can be manipulated higher. Reverse engineering tuna salad masubi. So instead of making food to sell, we're reverse engineering food while we reverse engineer food for lead generation. What is food for lead generation? Food for lead generation is where we give away one cookie for one application to buy a Tesla. This is what Elon Musk does in giving away muffins and cupcakes at the mall to sell test drives, aka selling cars. Food for lead gen. 40 hours a week. That's awesome. 40 hours a week in 1980 paid me the same dollar amount as a 15-second video in 2026. Crazy. But here's the thing that I'm going to decompress. Thank you, Ron, for participating. I enjoy you. Congratulations on your developing channel where you're lip syncing. Decompressing the 15-second video. That 15-second video, it took you 5 hours because you had to, one, parse content. Two, you had to curate other people's content. Three, you had to ace the lip syncing with the emotions, with the facial body language. Four, what you're taking advantage of is an algorithm of being able to make money while you sleep, because the video that gets the views, you're not spooling it up, you're leveraging a platform, which is YouTube. What you're also doing is you're outsourcing to YouTube all of your monetization. Where have you guys seen when YouTube content creators lose their monetization? Where their only monetization is CPM on YouTube. So what we're doing here with Ron Lauther's decompression, what we're doing with the decompression is we're not necessarily, actually we are necessarily reverse engineering Ron Lauther's lip sync videos by 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 brainstorming the necessary components in order to produce a viral video that is lip synchronicity. Easy for you to say, Larry Chiang. Easy for you to say. Do you have anything to add to what I said? Do you have anything to add? It's been terrific spending time with you, and this book ends nicely because we explored the concept of reverse engineering, where we reverse engineered cubed curry. We reverse engineered the syllabus of a work conference. We reverse engineered and forward engineered foods that we want to eat and do food for lead gen. We reverse engineered other people's business models, and we did a teaser for existing business model content that is on my channel. My channel's for Larry Chiang, What They Don't Teach You in School. We, in recapping, also did a reverse engineer of Web 12, which I think there are about 40 videos about Web 1, 2, aka Web 12, by forward engineering what Web 12 is, by reverse engineering Web 5, Web 4, Web 3, Web 2, Web 1, and Web 0, which is reverse engineering Web 0. That's an email or a letter. Web 1, which is a web page, where how many web pages have you produced? Let's say that each Ron Lauther video would be loaded up on its own Microsoft Word web page, where it's got a description of the viral content. It's got ancillary content. It's got auxiliary content. It's got connections to social media, where you're not saying like, share, comment, or distribute my content. You're not saying that, relying on other people to do your distribution. You're distributing your own content by putting it onto Microsoft WordPress. Extra large, maybe double XL, but definitely XL, where you're your own distributor. This is what Taylor Swift did at AMC Theaters, where she was her own distributor. What is a distributor? Normally, the talent allocates and delegates the distribution and the money making to a distributor. This is why most musicians who die bankrupt say, I wish I would have learned more about the business end of the music business. This is yoga teachers, where yoga teachers will say the business skills are what make the difference between a good yoga teacher and a great yoga teacher. Because if we're delegating distribution, to other people, we're delegating business model to other people, we are going to get screwed. This is why Elon Musk, Tom Brady, and Larry Chiang, we don't delegate money making to our agent. This is a recipe for engineers and physicists dying bankrupt 100% of the time, is where we hire a business person, we hire a business manager to manage our money. Deadly. I'm going to hire a financial advisor. Deadly every time. Why? Because as a multimillionaire, or in some cases a billionaire, why would you hire somebody who doesn't have $1 million to manage millions and millions? That's a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for disaster, which is why that's the business model of financial advisory. Cheers. How useful has that been? Reverse engineering Web3. It's been a shit show. Look at Denver Ethereum. Web2. People complain about social media, and that's okay, because by reverse engineering Web 0, 1, 2, and 3, we forward engineered Web 12, which is Web 5 is Bitcoin. The future's here. It's just not here evenly distributed. Thanks, Larry. Appreciate the book recommendations. Cool. That's book recommendation into book club into book arbitrage, meaning, can you make $800 on a book? Can you make $800 on one book? This is reverse engineering becoming limitless, which is Jim Quick reverse engineering the movie Limitless. What's the movie Limitless? It's the Bradley Cooper movie where he could pop a magic pill, and he reverse engineered that magic pill. Jim Quick, Asian guy, he reverse engineered the pill at the end of the movie, which was directed by, I think, David Russell. It's a Bradley Cooper movie. The movie's called Limitless. So the challenge was, how do you pop a pill and then have an IQ that's 3x your regular IQ? So Jim Quick has a book about it, chapters 1 through 20. And I went ahead and added chapter 21, your body keeps the score. I added chapter 22, which is NLP, neuro linguistic programming. I added chapter 19. I added more to chapter 19, which is AI, because Jim Quick already has a chapter 19. Putting my thinking cap back on. By being able to reverse engineer a book and then read the book, Amazon, it limits you to publishing 3 books per day. Let me repeat that. Amazon, my friend's book selling website. Amazon, it limits you to selling 3 new books per day. So if you wrote 4 books, one of the books you'd have to sell somewhere else, because Amazon, it limits the number of books you can sell to 3 per day. This is an external API where when somebody else releases a book, 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 you can write the companion version to it. When somebody else releases a book, you can augment it. That's what they don't teach you at Harvard Business School about Search Fund. They used to teach you at Harvard Business School about Search Fund. This video has bookended nicely. I appreciate your guys' time, and I implore you to reverse engineer one thing, which is PI, pattern recognition, pattern replication, pattern iteration, where you're just reverse engineering one thing. RE, risk mitigation, risk minimization, risk elimination. Reverse engineer that, and you'll connect to Nassim Taleb, RWRI, which is Real World Risk Institute. RWRI is exactly hashtag RMRMRE. Nicholas Nassim Taleb. Let's reverse engineer something.